So it is the end of June. That means it's blackberry pruning time. And by that I mean it's time to prune out the old, dead, or dying canes that produced blackberries this year. So before you start just willy-nilly cutting out stuff, let me show you what to look for, what to prune out, how to prune them for your best production next year. So I've already pruned these 2 containers. If you've watched my channel, you know I grow blackberries in containers and they have done well. This is my 3rd year. They are doing fantastic, and I've already pruned out these 2. You don't see any dead canes on these 2 plants. A lot of good new growth. That is all primocane growth from this year, and I expect even more now that I've pruned out some of the old canes to give it a little bit more light. And now they will start growing even better to provide me a good crop for next year. So these have not been pruned out. As you can tell, that cane is pretty much dead, certainly dying. So that comes out, and the reason it's dead is because it's already produced blackberries. There's the cluster of blackberries that this produced. That right there is a cluster of 5 blackberries. So this has already produced blackberries, and it's time to die. Now, the plant doesn't die, the mother plant doesn't die. You don't have to go out and buy new blackberry plants or anything like that. It reproduces itself. That's the way they are supposed to do. So there's some more dead stuff. This is a dead cane. This is an old cane. You can either take out the entire cane, or you can follow it all the way down and cut it off at the bottom. You want to cut it off as low as you can, and you want to get that cane out of there. And just in case they're diseased or something, you do want to get them, not just throw them on the ground, but you want to trace that down. Now, I'm going to caution you, because sometimes in all this mess, it is difficult to find the cane that needs to come out. You look at it on top and it looks like it needs to come out, but then you don't quite do your diligence to follow it all the way down. And when you get down here and there's a bunch of leaves and a bunch of canes sticking up, it is real easy to cut the wrong one. So trace it down. Use your hand and trace it all the way down, and as low as you can go, cut it out. This is a dead cane right here. I don't think you can see it, but I'll bring it out and show you. That is a dead cane, and there are a bunch of them in here. That is dead, and I'm just going down as close to the ground, the dirt, as I can go. We'll try to get the camera at a better angle for you in just a second to show you a little bit closer shot, but I'm gonna have to kind of get out of the sun so the camera does not overheat. There's another one. There's one there. Some of these still look half alive, but I can tell it's dead or dying, like that. You know, they may still be green. Now, if you wait long enough, if you wait another month, it's going to be obvious. These things are going to be brown, and they're going to tell you they are dead. And that may be something you want to do, and especially if it's the heat of the summer, you may not want to do it in the heat of summer anyway. I don't enjoy it, and you probably don't either. But there's just some examples of the dead or dying canes. But some of these leaves, lower leaves, if you want to pinch some of those off, I found last year when I did that, or year before, I just started getting a ton of new canes coming up. Something about exposing this base to the light, to the sunlight, just really intensified new cane growth, and that may be something that you would want to do. All your new canes is your berries for next year. So there's one right there. That's a new one. But I do want to warn you, because just pruning those first 2 containers, I clipped out a couple of canes that were good viable canes. I didn't do my due diligence to trace it down all the way down. I just you know, assumed I had a hold of the right one. I clipped it and then I pulled out a good cane. So that does happen to me, and if it happens to me, and I've been doing it for years and years and years, it's going to happen to you too. So just be real careful about which ones you cut. Make sure it is dead. Good time to do a little weeding. Okay, we're on the backside, a little shady. Hopefully you can see. And I will trace this one down. That's a very long, dead, big dead cane. Try not to get your fingers, because that pruner will take them off. So make sure you make sure when you're pruning you don't have any fingers in the way. And I am going to trim out some of these leaves just to give it a little bit of light here on the bottom, and I bet you it won't be long I'll start getting a lot of new growth for having done that. I've found it doesn't hurt the cane any to take off these bottom leaves. They've got plenty of leaves on the top to gain the energy they need. But see how I'm just kind of opening up the bottom. That helps. I think, I've never seen anybody else talk about it or do it, but I have found that it really spurs on new cane growth, which is what you want. Open up the bottom there and let the bottom of these tubs get sun. I don't know what it does, I can't explain it, but there's something about the sun, seems like to me, there's something about the sunshine hitting the bottom of these tubs that spurs those roots to send up more canes. So if you can kind of prune out some of the leaves, like I'm doing just now, right here on the bottom, first 12 inches or so, 12, 16 inches, and let the sunlight come in and hit that soil, whether it be in a container or whether it be in the ground, doesn't really matter. I think that really helps the new cane growth, which again helps your production for next year. Canes is what it's all about. You want to grow these good canes. All right, let's move over here and do one more tub. Maybe I can get you some good tight shots of it. Now this one here has a bunch of canes. Now I'm just going to start taking off a little bit at a time. I'm not going to trace it out to the bottom just yet. That one is a dead one. I can see up here it's dead. I'll trace it all the way down. Move some of these leaves out of the way, and then yank it out of there. Much like yanking out grapevines out of your vineyard. But sometimes I work my way down. If you're unsure, just work your way down and cut out dead, 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 dead till you get to the bottom, and then you've done a good job. Just be careful cutting out canes that you haven't traced out all the way to the bottom from the top. You see them dead on the top, but they don't necessarily look dead on the bottom. So trace it down all the way. I've got a big conglomerate. This container had a lot of canes on it. A lot of canes. A lot of blackberries. Let me start taking out some of these leaves, where I can get just a little bit better look at what's down here. I'm gonna go ahead and take that little bitty one out because they just don't seem to do much. And that one again is coming from next door. I'll have to determine if that's a last year's or this year's. But that is dead. That is dead. I would want to encourage you though to try to open up the bottoms of these plants to the light. Hopefully you will find the same thing I found, and that is that they begin to produce more canes if they have light. If the light can reach the bottoms, the light can reach the bottom of the plant, hit on that soil. I just think it spurs that root to start sending up canes. But I just wanted to show you, it is time, if you're in the South, it is time to prune out the old canes. And that's what you do. Find it, if it's dead on top, if it's obviously dead, and that's the key word. Prune out what is obviously dead. And then just trace it all the way down the bottom and cut it out if it's obviously dead. Don't take out something you're unsure of, because if it's dying, you can come back in a week or two and be sure. It'll be real dead, and then you'll know you're supposed to take it out. So if you're unsure, don't take it out yet. Wait a few weeks and see. If it didn't die, it may have been a good cane, maybe just need a little water, may just had whatever. So you may want to wait till July, till August to do this. I like to try to do it before it gets too hot, even though it is hot. But we're going to open up the bottoms. We're going to prune out the old canes and get these plants starting to really produce good canes for next year, for next year's production. This is not the typical year-long pruning where you just pinch the tips off the tops of the new canes and let them start growing those laterals. That's not what I'm talking about. I pinched those off, all my canes off at about 4 feet. This is taking out the old dead canes from last year. Last year's canes that have already produced berries and are dying, dead or dying. You need to take them out. And you need to get rid of them when you take them out. Don't leave them close to the plants. I'll try to answer any questions you have, but this is not regular pruning. This is the yearly taking out of the old dead canes. All right, we're gone.